Hey, how's it going? This is Christy. You're following my journey where I am practicing good methods to maintain diet, weight loss, other good routines. I haven't really been talking about my other good routines because we're in kind of a weight loss talk, but I have been keeping up with my facials and all stuff like that. Not the facial massages, but I've been keeping up with my lotions and stuff, and I've been brushing my teeth every morning and night and flossing and all that stuff. So those routines have been on point since starting getting more in the flow with other things. In fact, getting my disordered eating under charge helps me with my other routines because I'm not so distracted with eating that I forget to do those other things. One of those things. So bracelet's been going well. I did have kind of like a hungrier day 2 days ago. I hadn't had time to make a video about it. And so we had gone to Subway, and I think I was just like hungry. And so I had those like splurgy days, but that was candy. That's really not like my preferred method for how to handle a hungry day. If you're hungry, you probably need, one of two things. You probably need protein or you need fiber, and it's probably protein. Sometimes it can be a little bit of healthy fat, but I get a good healthy dose of healthy fat daily. So that I'm not concerned with. With me, I'm not, that kind of dieter. So, we were at Subway and I was looking at what I could do to get the best macros, and I kind of messed up, but it was kind of epic at the same time. I ordered the chicken bacon ranch wrap, but then I asked them to give it double meat. And I used to work at Subway. I don't know why I didn't remember this, because I should have definitely remembered this. A wrap already has a foot long amount of meat on it. So when they doubled the chicken and the bacon, it turned into like 4 piles of that chicken and like 2 footlongs worth of bacon. So it had to have had like 8 pieces. And that I did the calculations on it. It was something like 104 grams of protein with over like somewhere around 1100 calories, because I got the chipotle sauce. I didn't put cheese on it. I got obviously very few vegetables on it. It was basically a chicken burrito, but it was, let me tell you, very tasty. And I ate like the first half, and I was just like really needing some protein. I don't know, like maybe just like because I've been on a diet, my body just felt like it needed some food that day. And so I ate almost the whole thing. I left like the little butt end, which was good of me because I would have been at 10 out of 10 if I had done this. And it had like a good amount of bacon. It was basically filled with bacon at this butt end and sauce. So I threw away, at least 2 points at the end there. But I ate somewhere around 1,000 calories, somewhere around 100 grams of protein 2 days ago. And yeah, that reflected on the scale, and it's going to. That's how people, gain and lose weight and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that was like 100 grams of like mostly is chicken, Yeah, it had some bacon in it. But honestly, I just went straight back to, I counted the points for that day. I still stayed under my points for the day. I didn't do anything, but because it was just such a huge meal and I haven't, processed it all the way through, it turned into like 2 pounds. But I've already actually gotten down a pound since then, and that's kind of like how general weight gain and weight loss works. People, when they're gaining weight, they're like, but I keep trying, but I keep trying. But you're kind of, what you're doing is you're losing a couple pounds and then you're gaining a bunch of pounds back, and you're losing a couple pounds, you gain a couple pounds back. Well, when you're losing weight, you kind of do sort of the opposite, where you're losing weight, but then you can gain a couple pounds back, but then you lose more weight, but then you gain a couple pounds back. And that's how we kind of trick our metabolism into continuing to feel comfortable burning calories, because our metabolism is not generally comfortable burning excessive calories. It's holding on to that body weight on purpose. It thinks there's a famine coming, especially if you have my type of food eating disorder, where it probably does come from different times where there was food scarcity and stuff, and it was like, no, you better, respect the full plate, otherwise you're gonna suffer, blah blah blah. Another thing though, that I tend to do, and a lot of neurodivergent people do this, we're talking about all neurodivergence, not any specific types, but we will organize the way that we eat our plate in one way or another, whether the food is touching or whether the bite has to be a perfect combination of, but there's usually like some form of like order of operations to how we eat our food. And with me, I like to have the perfect ending bite, you know. And so what I'll do is I'll eat the whole plate planning on how to get that exact ratio correct for the bite. And that whole time that I'm planning out this perfect ending bite, I'm basically not thinking about how full I am, whether I should stop eating, whether this food is like actually nourishing my needs or anything, because I'm trying to get a flavor combination for a final bite to work out. So today, this morning, after I had my workout, I did my weights and workouts so that I could earn my little protein yogurt, which I did chocolate style this time with chocolate chips. And I have some like old hemp hearts around, so I threw like a tablespoon of those in, and some high flavonoid cocoa powder that I threw in there with some stevia, mixed that around. So I had my protein bowl with like 55 grams of protein this morning, and then I had a little piece of sourdough bread, just plain toasted. I just wanted to add a little carb so that my stomach would feel like that extra little carby full. And I was starting to eat it, and I was like thinking about how I'm going to how I'm going to eat this piece of bread so that it's just perfect, so that my final bites are just right. And I realized it's like you shouldn't be doing that. You're making it more about finishing the food in like an exciting way than like feeding yourself appropriately. So I'm going to, as often as I possibly can, as if I don't think that it's something that I'm necessarily going to finish anyway, at least. Like if it's something that's like a small enough meal and I know I'm going to finish the entire plate, fine, I can save the final bite like I prefer to do. But what I'm going to try to do is have my perfect bites be the early bites, the first bites that I have, as an effort to make the rest of the plate look unexciting and unappealing. And so I'm just going to eat what I really want off the plate instead of trying to save what I really want for last, like the little clean your plate club kind of rules, which is hilarious because I was never raised as a clean your plate club kid. We were not forced to finish our plates. But for some reason, I think just the food scarcity times in my life, I have like that same kind of clean your plate sort of attitude, trying to kind of stray away from it. So, I might still eat the rest of the bread. I mean, we're talking about like, it's like 120 calories a slice or something. So we're talking about like just teeny twitches, little bits of here's and there's. But I'll be honest, those little tiny bits, just like they do the other way, add up. So I think that whole protein feed day, which really, honestly, I really liked, and I took as a sign that I just needed more protein in general. So I went and I got a great big, like a shrimp, Costco sells them, the big pack of shrimp cocktail. And I just got the whole big pack, and I ate like lunch today, or yesterday, sorry, was just like shrimp cocktail. And then dinner last night, I had made some bone broths from the leftover bones and skin from the chicken that I was eating. And I turned that into like an egg drop soup that I put some more shrimp in. And so each one of those meals had another, like 40 to 50 grams of protein. So I'm having somewhere in the range of like 130 to 150 grams of protein per day still. And I used that trigger at Subway where I just was like starving for protein as just like a signal that even though I want to stay within my range of points, that what my body is definitely craving are those like super high protein things. And then what I'm making sure that I do is I double down and make sure that I'm doing my weights, because if you think protein can't turn into fat, you're absolutely wrong. You always need to be training your muscles, but I happen to have this weight set here to go along with what I'm doing, or I could be doing just more calisthenics with what I had. And so I'm just making sure that I hit those weights every single time in different ways and stuff every day, so that when I'm eating such a high count of protein, I mean, we're talking like almost as many grams as I want to weigh in the end. Well, I'm going for like 140, but whatever, we'll see what it ends up being, frankly. But we want to make sure that what we're doing supports our goals. The bracelet's really good for me for tracking the pattern of eating, for knowing that, breakfast today was a 6, not a 5 because of that toast. But within what I'm doing, I also need to be working on, you know, how I eat, what my body's craving, focusing on what are my habits while I eat that are creating these situations that are unfavorable for weight loss in the first place, and why am I doing it? You know what I mean? Like, what is the exact purpose of making sure you get every single bite of mashed potato? Because I promise you, it's not that much of your grocery bill, right? Anyway, cheers to that. Cheers to realizing that this morning. So we're going to be keeping going forward, and everything is going cheery and well. You know, just remember, always be nice to yourselves.